starts right now with breaking news.
And thanks for joining us. I'm Kimmy Rapson. Breaking news. People at a Brown County court hearing erupt in anger after the sentencing of a woman for the death of her infant nephew. Our cameras followed as Marcelia Fonseca left the courthouse.
Baby killer! You're supporting a baby killer from the vehicle. I don't care. No, she's a baby killer.
A judge today sentenced the now 20-year-old Marcelia Fonseca to 4 years in prison, 5 years probation, and 200 hours of community service. She walked out today essentially serving her prison time after being in custody since 2020. That's when officials charged her for intentionally causing a Green Bay house fire that killed her 11-month-old nephew. Fonseca entered a plea deal this morning after a trial last year ended in a hung jury. She pleaded no contest to a lesser charge of homicide by negligent handling of a dangerous weapon. We heard from the little boy's family, who are upset with the judge's sentencing today, and we will hear from them tonight on Action 2 News.